This is Amelia Watson Case File number 420, the Trashed Pheonix, where an unsuspecting phoenix wakes up in a back alley dumpster. Let's get started. AM 1:27. Seven 22 AM. Ugh. What? Where? Huh? I died? And was thrown into the trash. Instead of... This is freaking murder. They even threw my ashes in the trash. I mean... Yeah, I know I'm trash, but not literally. This is just effing rude. I'm gonna find out who did it, and I'm gonna... What? Ah! Gross! Ah! They're gonna pay! I felt a light tap on my shoulder wake me up. Oh, it was just the banging on the door. Huh? Just as I decided to get up, I noticed something in my hand. I was holding an empty vial of my special concoction. There's an A written on the label. This... Ah. Whenever I see that letter... whatever. Whenever I see that letter by itself, I'm reminded of Gura. It's kind of funny how she's taking ownership of that letter now. Ame! Huh. It's Kiara. I can think of only one reason why she'd be here this early. Wait, I just woke up. I put my arms and pressed on the mattress to push myself up. A syringe rolled into the depression my arms made, stopping just at my fingertips. Well, close one. I noticed Bubba beside my bed, sleeping on the floor. Been a while since the last time he didn't sleep on his usual spots. I left the vial and syringe on my bed, then hurriedly fixed my hair and got out of the bedroom. This is important! Outside my bedroom is the office, which also functions as a central room of the house. Coming! Unlock the door but don't open it. I turned the locks as quietly as I could. Huh? I barely held back my laugh. I'm gonna wait longer. I stayed silent for a couple more seconds. I swear I heard something. Doesn't seem like she'll try to open the door herself. Is this innocence or is she just being dumb? Both? I turned my head around to sound further from the door. Coming for real now. I walked in place to fake some audible footsteps. The door wasn't even halfway open yet, she started blasting anyway. Murder! Freaking murder! I'll make them pay! So please help me find the culprit. Calm your feathers down. Come inside first. Oh, Ina's with me, by the way. Right on cue, Ina peeked into my narrow view from the half-open doorway. Luigi. She was there when I resurrected, so she's a prime suspect. I made her come with me so she couldn't tamper with the crime scene anymore. Write your own detective notes. Ah, so the incident took place at KFP. I looked at Ina. She shrugged at me like she just got roped into this whole situation. I see, but please come in first. And so we made our way inside. Kiara, I only have coffee. Is water fine with you? Yeah, please hear me out already. I can't exactly listen if I'm not awake, can I? Just chill for a sec. They both got seated, and I proceeded to make coffee while under pressure from a restless Kiara. She won't even die when she's killed, so why the fuss? Well, I guess she does die, just not permanently. Is it still death if it's only temporary, though? Isn't that just sleeping with attitude? Anyway, done with the coffee. Oh, almost forgot our water. Here you go. I served the coffee with water, then walked across my seat. Before my butt could even graze the chair's lining. Okay, listen to this. They freaking threw me in the trash! Just imagine when I woke up, it was completely dark. I didn't even know where I was. And even worse, it was in the biodegradable bin! Ugh! I don't even want to remember the feeling of my hands touching those things. Oh my god, I'm so angry, can you believe it? Wait, let's tackle this in order. Recall the events in order, in detail. That's the problem. That's exactly why I need your detective skills. Kiara leaned into the table and gave it a light bunk. I don't know how I died. Her arms slid off the table as she leaned back to her prior position. Last thing I remember is falling asleep in the KFP break room while I was with Callie. Next thing I know, I wake up in the freaking trash. I'm pretty sure my memories have come back already. This isn't because my memory is still hazy from the resurrection. Wait, so that means Callie is also a prime suspect. Hard to say since we hardly know anything. Ina raised her hand slightly, but put it down before continuing. Kiara was raging, so I thought it would be best to wait until we got here to say this. I think I might have been the one who accidentally threw her ashes into the trash. What? When I arrived, I tripped on a bunch of stuff scattered on the storage floor room, so I cleaned them up. I assumed that one of the boxes somehow fell off from the shelves. I think her ashes got mixed with packs of pepper powder in the mess. I think there was quite a lot there. But I don't think anyone would see that and immediately think it was Kiara's ashes. One box contains lots of items after all. I see. Oh, and Callie's scythe was also there. Ah, so it's Callie after all. I'm sure now. That's not conclusive evidence. No, because that's our... Yeah, I guess you're right. Unless we conduct a proper investigation, we can't conclude anything. Then let's do it. Can't you just let this pass? You're alive again. Everything's well and good now. No! They must be punished for their crime! We can't even say for sure that it was murder. And even if it was, they didn't even intend to humiliate you because the trash part was an accident. That is, unless Ina actually did it. Ame. Ha. It's a joke. Then let's investigate and find out. If it actually was murder, then I'll serve the culprits in fresh, delicious justice. Adamantly refuse the case. I'm not accepting this case. End of story. I don't want anything to do with this. But, no buts. I quickly stood up and locked myself in my room. Ame! She was relentless. Do not budge and endure. I refused to budge and didn't respond to whatever she did. After enduring a tumultuous hour of her seemingly endless pestering, she finally gave up and left. Ah, peace at last. But a feeling of guilt lingered with me for days. Okay, I beat the game. Alright, well, everyone, that's the video. Thanks for watching, and, yeah, no, I'm kidding. I'm gonna play the rest of the game. Free ending, I guess. Alright, so that's one of the endings. Well, I'll play through what I just I'll play through what I just played through, and then I'll get back to you guys when I got to the place we left off. Alright, we're back to where we left off. Last time we chose adamantly refuse the case, but I'm going to choose give in and accept your fate this time to actually play the video game. I sighed in resignation. Can't really escape from this, can I? She'll just keep pestering me until I accept. Okay, fine, I'll accept the case. Let's go. Call Gura and Callie. Let's meet them at KFP. Roger. I'll be your assistant for this case. Heh. You're Watson's Watson. I put on my detective drip and we took off. Hololive's #1 detective is now on the case. Unwillingly. Because of the incident, Kiara closed KFP for the day. She kept the lights and AC running like usual just for our dining experience. Despite her rowdy nature, she's actually quite thoughtful. We sat at the table furthest from the entrance, I guess because it's close to the kitchen door. You wanna eat? Kiara handed me a menu. Consider this payment for your services. Heh. Wow, we just started and she's already trying to save money. That's quite a discount I'll be giving you, but sure, whatever. I didn't intend to charge her in the first place. I'll have a Yago burger. Alright. I'll have... You work here. Help me so we can make everyone's food before they arrive. Okay. A few footsteps later, the two of them disappeared into the kitchen. I started thinking about the case. On the way here, I asked Kiara about the CCTVs. Apparently only the storefront and the dining area have working security cameras. Because internal affairs are secret or something along those lines. With the usual room and other stuff going on there, I'm not surprised. I stood up to survey the interior for escape routes that take advantage of camera blind spots. It looks like there isn't one that goes through the dining area. What's most likely not captured in any of the cameras are the area where the storage and break room doors are located. So, the only escape route available seems to be through the storage room. I went back to my seat. There's not much more to check right now. Guess I'll just watch some anime. What should I watch to kill time? Well, I guess this one. I load up the new Ascent of the Bibliophile episode on my phone. The story won't satisfy those who seek thrills and twists. What it does provide is an outstanding level of concrete realism for a fantasy world and a heartfelt connection with the characters. The opening started playing a few minutes in. What a banger. Perfectly in time with the song, the door opened. Death has come. Yeah, Watson, where are the others? No in a move for now. Kiara and Nina are in the kitchen. Guru's not here yet. I see. She decided to sit opposite me. Yo, shut. How is she both so cool and adorable at the same time? Oh yeah, I actually needed to come here anyway. Because I left my scythe here yesterday. About that. Callie! She came storming hot like the food she was carrying. How dare you! Huh? Kusatori, wait. What the hell is going on? You're the prime suspect! Even though Kiara was fuming, she still served the food with care. Sasugo Tencho. Ina followed just after her, promptly serving the rest of the food while we explained the matter to Callie. Isn't this too much? Who's gonna eat all of this fast food? Naruhodo ne. I get it now. Why didn't you just, you know, clue them in on the phone? Oh god, Ina. That would be boring. We're meeting them anyway. I didn't bother commenting, instead busying myself with the fries. The rest of the food remained mostly untouched, with only the fries slowly dwindling away. Nobody said anything, but each of us probably decided to wait for Gura before touching the rest of our meals. The door opened again, and we all instinctively turned our heads. Her mini twin tails bobbed up and down with each step. Hey guys. From her bubbly demeanor, you wouldn't think she's over 9,000 years old. So, what's the meeting for? She hopped onto the seat beside Ina, who was beside me. You'll find out now. Alright. I took my first bite of the Yago burger. Ahem. Detective voice, switch on. As you already know, except for Gura, I spoke like I was acting on stage. Kiara got thrown into the trash this morning. Kiara, what now? You left out the important part. No, I didn't. Let me finish. Specifically, Kiara died and her ashes were thrown into the trash. Unfortunately, Kiara has no memories of the incident. This means she doesn't know whether it was an accident or if there was foul play involved. We're here today so that I, Ace Detective Amelia Watson, I'm able to properly investigate and solve this incident. Why don't you just use time travel to check what happened? Ignore. If we are to assume that it... Don't you ignore me! Oh, sorry. I didn't catch that. What did you say again? I probably shouldn't piss off Death, you know? I said, why not just time travel and check? Because this power isn't something I can just use anytime. It's a last resort. Using it haphazardly might result in extremely serious consequences. Right. If you say so. So, going back to the case, only the 5 of us had 24/7 access into KFP via the storage room door. If we are to presume that it was murder or homicide, then there's a high likelihood that the culprit is among us. So further details will be withheld, as it might help the culprit if there is foul play involved. Ugh. I started to cringe from my acting. Anyway, that's that. I switched back to my normal tone. Let's begin. I'm assuming Ina and Guro will claim that they were home last night until this morning. They both nodded at me. I was finishing an illustration. You can check the files on my PC and cloud drive to confirm. And Guro? Her eyes wandered up for a second. Do dirty dishes count? Sus! Not. How am I even supposed to give proof? I just ate, watched stuff, and went to sleep. Kiara, have Ina show you her files. And yeah, that doesn't make Guro sus. That just means we can't determine whether or not she was home at the time of the incident. Yeah, that's right. As for Callie, we'll talk more about it later. Ina's files show that it was last modified at 2:42 AM. Good. We can now proceed to the next part of the investigation. It's time to examine the alleged crime scene. While the crime scene examination is ongoing, you 3 suspects will remain here. Don't try anything funny because the cameras are watching. Got it. Okay. Copy that. Oh! Wait a minute. Shouldn't Watson also be a suspect? She is yet to provide an alibi. She might even manipulate evidence to hide her crime. Oh my god. I didn't think of that. Ame? Relax. I was here last night to give Kiara's monthly asthma injection. I left at around 10 PM, and indeed have no alibi for between that and this morning. But that's why Kiara's coming with me. She can monitor me and ensue I'm innocent and doing my job honestly. Ah, that makes sense. Thought you could outsmart an ace detective? Not with those math skills. Shut up, Watson. You framed another child for eating chocolates you ate before. Who knows if you'll do it again? Shifting suspicion is a common tactic culprits employ. Huh? The detective in charge is insinuating that someone's the culprit? Absolutely unprofessional. Why should we even rely on your judgment? I think everyone else would rather have me investigate than you. Huh? Listen now, enough banter already. Let's just get to it so we can head home early. Ah, I almost forgot. Where's your crowbar, Ina? In the storage room, with Callie's type. Aight, thanks. Let's go. Most of the storage room boxes are piled on shelves. I guess I keep inventory inside boxes and only take them out when they transfer items to the kitchen. So, do your security cameras also capture audio? Eh? Ah, of course. Just between you and me, plus it might help with the investigation. Yes, they record audio. Let me check them after we're done here. Yeah, okay. Callie's scythe and Ina's crowbar were on the wall right by the door we just entered. There were clearly ash traces on both. Can you confirm if the ashes are yours? Kiara leaned in to take a closer look. These are definitely my ashes on both. I don't understand what this means. It'll take forever if I explain each little thing to you. Just let me do my thing for now. Okay, okay. What should we inspect next? Trash. Let's inspect your new home. Huh? What? You know, where you last slept and woke up. Where I last... rude. The trash bins are right outside the storage room exit. Assistant Takanashi. It's time you learn a dark truth about this detective business. Huh? What's this all of a sudden? It's a dirty business. Better for you to learn sooner than later. So, it's time to dirty your own hands. Kiara looked puzzled. What are you talking about? I faced her and motioned toward the trash with my eyes. Her eyes followed mine. The puzzled look turned into annoyance. This is abuse of power! You're the assistant, and this is assistance. Am I right? Ugh, I shouldn't have volunteered to be your assistant. There were 2 identical trash bins. I guess one's for biodegradable and the other's for the rest. Man, this place has substandard waste management. Maybe the kitchen has an actual proper waste disposal system. Kiara went through the trash and showed me anything that seemed unusual. In the end, the only thing out of the ordinary was her ashes mixed with black pepper powder in one of the bins. In the other bin, we found the injection needle I used to give her asthma medication. Good job, Assistant Takanashi. While Kiara washed her hands, I checked the surrounding area but found nothing of significance. What should we investigate next? I noticed some things on the right shelf that seemed to have the traces of ash on them. They're mostly packs of pepper powder and some canned salmon. I assume these were items Ina picked up from the floor according to her story. Where's the box? I don't know. You didn't think to ask her before you went to my office? Nope. I wanted to see you right away. Okay. We could have ruled out or confirmed foul play by checking it. Oh? You know how cardboard has pockets of space inside it? If you're actually wounded heavily, there's a good chance some blood would have seeped into the box. If you were actually wounded heavily, there's a good chance some blood would have seeped into the box. That would leave some of your ashes within those gaps. We cut up the box and check the unexposed gaps. If we find some ash in those gaps, that would confirm foul play. Oh. The murderer took it with them. Yeah, it could be that. But it's best to keep an open mind until we have a clearer picture of the whole incident. It wasn't in the trash bins either. Now this is getting interesting. What should we inspect next? Shelves. Did you at least ask Ina where she found the items she cleaned up? Yes. She took several steps toward a spot by the nearest shelf on the left. It should have been right around here. The items must have fallen around there. I pointed at an empty spot on the top of the shelf. Yeah, I suppose so. Standing in front of it, I realized it's too high for me to have a clear view of the top of the shelf. I looked around. Kiara, I need you to do something for me. What is it? Kneel down on all fours here in front of me. Well, what? Now. Why are we suddenly... Fine. She obediently did as I told her. Good girl. Now ready your back. 3, 2, 1, and... I climbed up the human stool so I can inspect the top shelves. Oh. I thought you were doing something else. Huh? What were you thinking? Nothing. Not the reaction I expected. I just need a minute, so please endure for a bit. Thanks. Yeah, okay. As it turned out, I didn't actually need a minute. Something immediately greeted my magnifying glass. I grabbed some and went back down. Well, look what we have here. What's that? It's hard to confirm with just my magnifying glass, but I'm positive that these are dermal denticles. Dermal denticles? Shark scales. Shark? Oh, Gura, you little shh. I know what you're thinking, but hold your chicken wings. There may be other reasons for this. Okay. Continue investigation. Let's continue with the investigation. What should we investigate next? I want to check the fridge. Why would something be there? I don't know. Better to check than miss something. We can also confirm the record of your asthma injection. The refrigerator stood tall in the corner. Do you find commercial refrigerators intimidating as well? You do? Yeah. Just look at this thing. So big. So hard. Maybe it's just because I'm used to seeing my own. Ame? Let's open this thing. Yep, it's mostly filled with processed stuff one would expect to find in a fast food fridge. An unsuspecting person might miss the little secret compartment camouflage as a postmodern design element. I pulled out 2 small cases from the compartment. Kiara closed the door of the gigantic metal box for me. Thanks. Oh no, one of them's chipped off at the corner. Scared the hell out of me yesterday when you dropped those. Yeah, my concoction case got caught when I fell off and I pulled out the asthma one. I got startled and also dropped the asthma one while trying to catch it. How did the vials not break from that? These are supposed to be shock-resistant cases. But yeah, some of the vials did fall out of the case due to the impact. Anyway, look at this. Confirmation of your asthma injection yesterday. I showed her a vial from the asthma case. Some traces of liquid remained inside. It was mostly clear with a very light hint of blue. On the label was the date yesterday. Yep, I knew anyway. I opened the other case, which houses my special concoction supply. The color was similar to asthma one, but it's noticeably darker. I've always wondered why you write that quote. And why are some of them missing? You don't need to know. Oh? But you're still one of the suspects. Dang, she got me. Fine. I'd sometimes take one home since each vial is worth multiple shots. They're quite strong. Then I'd forget to return it here, so I've lost some of the vials. And the quote? The length is perfect. And also for myself. I like seeing the quote every time I open this case. I see. One last question. Why do you need me to store it here? Because it's safer to hide here. I understand. Can we move on now? Yep. In this job, I'm usually the one doing the questioning. It feels uncomfortable being the one questioned instead. Glad to be mostly on the other side. We opened the refrigerator and returned the cases. What should we inspect next? The usual room. Can we check the usual room? No, never. But it might help the case. I'm actually just curious. No is no. Come on. Mission failed. Off to the break room then. Let's check the CCTV recordings. It's the only room with a PC here. I got out first and headed straight to the usual room's entrance. This is one ominous door. That's out of limits no matter what you say. I know. I hurried back to her. Was that some ash or pepper around the doorknob? Somehow, this isn't turning out like I thought I would. Of course not. You probably expected a thriller or something. For one, this isn't some high-stakes case since you're immortal anyway. That instantly cuts away most of the tension. I guess. But for me, it's not the scale or the danger that makes it fun. It's the process of broadening my perspective in order to solve mystery. What do you mean? Let's see. In a sense, any mystery is a fight between the world and your limited perspective. Just because something seems logical doesn't mean it's the one and only truth. Interesting. Since everybody has a limited perspective, you need to obtain as much information as you can to grow the bubble in which you test your logic. We all fall prey to the trap of believing in logical answers that only hold true in narrow perspectives. That's why finding answers is all about asking the right questions. Some questions will widen your perspective, some won't. It's important to ask the right ones. Ah, yeah, I see what you mean. I believe you've been more in your detective skills now. I stood behind Kiara as she sat down to go through the CCTV files on her PC. Can you show the waveform of the audio from 10 PM last night to 7 AM? Just the one from this side of the dining area, since it's the closest to the rooms. Ah, wait a bit. I don't have anything here to view the waveform. I'll install it now. Why the waveform first, though? Because... Wait, I got it. Because any loud sounds from the rooms might have been picked up on the recording? Correct. It'll be much faster to scroll through the waveform instead of playing the footage because we're looking for sounds. Let's go. Detective Takanashi. Did she just promote herself? An installation is complete. We quickly skimmed through the 9 hours of mostly silent audio. Whoa, 2 obvious spots. 1:27 AM and 4:46 AM. Nothing on the video you can just barely hear the sounds. But the one at 1:27 sounded like a box falling. Yeah, it seems like there was some weak noise and then a BAM! Then sounds of stuff falling out of the box. What about the other one? Maybe Ina's crowbar? If she just arrived, then she must be carrying it with her when she tripped. Alright, I always see her with that crowbar. Why is she so early though? Seems sus. It could also have been Gura or Callie, and that Ina's crowbar bong wasn't loud enough to be recorded. Well, yeah. Or you. Heh, exactly, so hold off on jumping to conclusions. We can't even confirm if you are still alive or already ashed for both times. Don't mind me, it's just my mind running wild. We didn't find anything else worth noting in the break room. Scrubbing through the videos was also unproductive. The entire footage was practically just a still image. The next part's going to be crucial. Before leaving, we took a peek at the live security footage. Ina and Callie were barely awake. Gura was still eating. I thought they served too much, but it seems like apex predators have bottomless appetites. We won't check the kitchen? You can't get into the kitchen without showing up in the cameras. So it's reasonably safe to assume that all the action took place in the storage room. Welcome back. The other two raised their heads upon hearing Gura's greeting. So, is the mystery solved? Unfortunately, not yet. We'll move on to the next stage. I'll interrogate each of you in the break room, one-on-one. Why does it have to be one-on-one? Can't we just talk here? It's to make it harder for the possible culprit and accomplices, if any, to corroborate their lies with other people's statements. Standard procedure. We're doing a raid tonight, so I'd like to know in advance if I have to cancel. No worries, it shouldn't take too long. Let's set it at 10 minutes for each of you. No extensions as long as you all cooperate. Why don't we all get started then? Kiara, I'd prefer it if I can conduct the interrogations alone. Eh? Why? I want in on the fun. You know, so we can have a thorough conversation, heart to heart. If you say so. You are the detective. I'll just monitor the time and notify you when time's up. Alright, let's decide the order. You three choose a number from 1 to 5.
Where's the rest of them?
Eh? 1, 2, 5? Gura. Eh? Are you actually serious? Huh? We collectively burst into laughter, which only added to Gura's confusion. She didn't say 3, 4. The laughter showed no signs of stopping. Wait, did I mess up? I'm crying. No, wait, I think Ina just died. That was F-wording hilarious. Ha, ha, ha. Has she not realized even now? Yeah, okay. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and explain. I asked you to choose from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Which is 1, 2, 5. Oh my god. Her voice faded out as she laughed from embarrassment. Gura, how could you even... That's so ridiculous. Gura buried her face into her hands. I don't know. That's a Gargura shark brain moment if I've ever seen one. Well then, choose your numbers. 4, of course. The one before 2. Gura? I'll go with 2. Gura, 2, Ina 1, Callie 4. Got it. So, who's going first? We'll go with Callie first. So, we're doing this in descending order, huh? Maybe. Yeah, shut. Let's get this done. 'Tis time for a face-off with death. Death is seated across from you with her towering figure. Your 10 minutes starts now. Kiara's muffled voice from the other side of the door informed me. Guess we're starting with the cross-examination? I nodded at Callie. Only 10 minutes. No time to joke around. Recount of last night. I heard from Kiara that you were together last night, but can I ask you to give your own account of what happened? Sure, no problem. She fixed her posture as she replied. So, we three had quite a late dinner together, right? And you gave her asthma medication afterwards. After you left, your boy and Kusatori were just hanging out. Really? You didn't do anything else? No, Watson, we didn't. Okay, continue. Callie let out a weak sigh. We were just chilling, chatting about all sorts of topics in the break room. At around 10:30, Kiara said she was going to take a nap before going home because she was feeling too sleepy. As far as I know, that wasn't something unusual for her. I was also dead tired. Work's tough on everyone, you know? So I stayed with her until she fell asleep. Then, I left through the storage exit, as the front entrance was already locked. I went straight home and slept. Can you provide any proof? Unfortunately, I can't. The underworld ain't filled with technology spying on you. Nice, very concise, thanks. It comes easy when you've got nothing to hide. Okay, so, about the scythe. You left your scythe here last night, right? That's correct. To be more accurate, I forgot to bring it home with me. Isn't your scythe important to you and something that's been with you for a long time? Yes, that's right. If so, how come you just forgot about it so easily? How do I explain this? It's like, when I relax, I tend to be kind of forgetful. Might also partially be due to me regularly getting sleep deprived. Like, when I'm at home, I'll often forget where I put my phone. Oh yeah? But this is KFP, not your home. I'm only saying this to be completely transparent in this investigation. I will not say it again. Callie couldn't help but look away. I'm, occasionally also guilty of this whenever Kiara's around. Her voice shrunk with every word. And, I guess you could say that I feel at home when Kuzatori is with me. The Reaper wrapper's red. What was that? I couldn't hear you. No. I'm sure you heard me fine, alright? I'm not saying any of that again. Fine. That right there. That is Tete. Okay, let's see. Why did you just leave Kiara sleeping alone in a place that wasn't her home? Even if it was at KFP, isn't that still kind of questionable? That didn't really cross my mind. We're both creatures aren't nearly as susceptible to death as humans. I guess our sense of danger is a bit different, so I didn't really think much of it. Good point. But she was just taking a nap. You could have waited for her. Listen. I'm listening. Gah. You cut off my train of thought. My bad. Where was I? Listen, I was tired as hell, and I had no idea how long I'd have to wait. You know, what if she slept for an hour? Do I just watch her sleep for that long? No way. I've had enough of that for the day. Let's see. This is the most important question. Oh, go ahead and shoot. How has your relationship with Kiara been lately? Huh? What are you talking about? I'm not in a relationship with her. Well, I mean, Kiara is indeed a friend of mine, so we do have a relationship. But not the way you're implying. I wasn't implying anything, though. Maybe I did anticipate your reaction. Just answer the question. Gah. It's normal. Always has been. I'm gonna be honest here. You sounded kind of irritated talking about leaving her asleep. Callie's eyes drifted down to a corner before flying back to me. You're really observant, huh? No, it was pretty obvious. It's just... I don't know, man. I was also tired and sleepy, so I feel for her. But last night, it's like she kept dozing off and didn't really care to listen to anything I was saying. She's rarely like that when we talk. Lately, she's also been talking more about Pekora and Fubuki more than usual. Cute. So what you're saying is that you're jealous? Huh? No. She slammed her fists on the table. Look, if you were immortal, I'd have effing slashed you now. But, alas, you're not. My sight's not with me at the moment. Whoa, calm down. Just kidding. Slashed in half. Scary. Kiara signaled the end. Time's up. I'm out. The Shinigami vacated her seat and walked out of the room. Peace. Good job, me. You can call the next one in. So, who's going next? Let's go with Ina. Copy that. Taco time. She's gonna say "wa" when she enters.
Wa.
Called it. When I'm with Ina, I just want to relax and be healed by her cozy presence. But I have a job to do. Conducting this interrogation properly is a must. Not doing so is tantamount to throwing away my pride as a detective. Shall we talk about the case then? Overused, but still mildly abusing. Okay, so. Let's go with the standard initial question. Please give me your account of last night and this morning. Try to add more details to what you've already told us earlier. Okay, let's see. As you've already confirmed, I was finishing an illustration late into the night. I went straight to sleep right after. Oh, and I slept on the floor so I could wake up easier. What? Okay, and then? Woke up early, got ready for work, and went to KFP. I went in through the storage room. Like with everyone else who's gotten storage room access from Kiara, which includes the 5 of us here right now. After I opened the door, I didn't notice the mess on the floor and tripped over something. I had my crowbar in hand, so I accidentally bonked the ground. Of course, I had no idea Kiara's ashes were scattered on the floor after all. Next, I cleaned up the mess and went on to do my duties as KFP. Kiara woke up just shortly after that, and the rest is just as you know. As in Kiara raging and banging on my door? Yep, she initially suspected me, but I told her if I did it, I wouldn't have hung around until she woke up. Neat, thanks. Ah, I forgot one thing. I was wondering about this. Back in your office, I said that I assumed the stuff scattered on the floor was from one of the boxes somehow, falling from the shelves. I forgot to mention that I didn't actually find the box. Ah, good. That's vital information. What time did you arrive at KFP? You didn't mention the time earlier. I think it was a few minutes before 7 AM. I woke up at around 6 AM. Wow, you barely got any sleep. Yeah, days like this aren't that rare. Can't be helped since I'm juggling multiple jobs. Don't push yourself too hard. Sleep is just as important as diet and exercise. Yeah, I've been trying to find ways to balance everything. There are just times when days like this become unavoidable. You know that feeling of wanting to do so much stuff that you feel like you're wasting time when you sleep? Especially when we still insist on keeping up with our hobbies and many other things. However, sleep deprivation actually hurts productivity, so when it goes on for too long, it's quite likely that you're sacrificing sleep without actually getting anything done. You could end up just ruining your physical and mental health without actually being more productive. That makes a lot of sense. Sorry for the unsolicited advice. Oh, no, it's completely fine. You're telling me this because you care. I really appreciate it. I didn't really think about how much lack of sleep can result on my work. Thanks. You know, so anyway, let's continue the interrogation. Okay, let's see. Why were you at KFP so early? Work hours start at 8 and the store doesn't open till 10. As second in command here at KFP, I want to set a good example by being early. It also allows me to clean and prepare food before the whole workforce arrives. I see. That's admirable. No, I just see this as an extension of my responsibilities. The KFP employees must be happy to have such a role model as their superior. No, you exaggerate. They're here because they love Kiara. But I guess maybe that's why they talk about issues regarding the workplace with me instead of Kiara. Oh, would you say you're inundated with KFP employee complaints? No, not really. I'm good at tackling them with my tentacles. What? Because my many tentacles can handle more than... Never mind, sorry. Okay. Everything is really fine though. Good. Let's just move on. Let's see. Since you mentioned some complaints coming your way, how's the work environment here at KFP? How to describe it? We all know that KFP is a special place. Let's just say that it's nothing like your average fast food chain. She seemed to be contemplating about something. It's alright. Let it out. She took a slow, deep breath. Sometimes I honestly feel bad for some KFP employees. Especially when they're sent to the usual room. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding on my part. What in the world is in that room? I can't provide an answer to that question. Please don't ask anymore. She gave me a piercing look. Huh, okay, I understand. Just what? If only they would join the tentacle, they'd be freed from any material suffering. We could even make our own fast food chain and call it Taco Bell. She spoke in a hushed tone, like her thoughts were just leaking out. Tentacle? Is that the group you mentioned forming a while back? Her eyes widened slightly. Yes, I might have mentioned it. Is that actually an actual cult? Oh, no. It's a play on tentacle and cult just for fun. We just gather and engage in relaxing and comfy activities. I see. Let me join in on the fun sometime. Sure. KFP is one wild place. Time's up, guys. After getting up, Ina stood still instead of heading for the door. Please don't get me wrong. KFP is work. I don't have any problems with Kiara herself. I love her just as much as I love you guys. Don't worry, we all know that. Alright. She waved once and turned toward the door. Her shadow receded as she walked out of the room. Decent interrogation. I believe that was good enough. That leaves only Gura. Should I take the seat across from you? Not really, but it'd feel weird if you didn't. Gura didn't reply and hopped to seat herself across from me. Shall we begin? Time starts now. Goofing around with Gura is fun, but now's not the time for that. This is the time to show them that my detective skills are legit. Let's see. Can you recount what you were doing last night again? With more detail if possible. I ate pizza for dinner. I took a bath, a long one, with pizza. Then I watched random stuff until I fell asleep. I don't really know what else I can add there. What sort of stuff did you watch? I can't prove it anyway, so why do I have to say it? Why not? Just disclose the information. Fine. GTA Online roleplays. Oh, that. Stop. Don't say more. Why? I also watch them. Lots of people do. But... Okay, is your watch history disabled? Yeah, that's why I can't show it. I watch on the app. That's too bad. Okay, so... How about you stop lying to my face? What? How do you think I found out? I don't even know what you're talking about, Watson. Huh? Did you forget that shark scales fall off? How can you even identify shark scales when they're so tiny? Because they weren't mixed with sand or coral segments. You can make them out clear enough with the magnifying glass. Huh, I didn't know that. I know your body better than you do. Shut up. You can't really prove that they were from the time of Kiara's death, can you? You've got nothing on me. What makes you think so? You didn't even know that they could be identified using a magnifying glass. I just know, alright? Not actually sure if the time range can be narrowed down enough. But telling her that won't help. We can actually tell how long your scales have been there. It just takes some time since we'll have to send it somewhere. So why don't you just spill the beans and save us the trouble? Say what you want, I don't believe you. I think you forgot to deny the part where you were lying. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna double down on pressure harder. One more push and she'll crack. Spare yourself the trouble. Kiara might get seriously mad if you keep this up. What? Better admit and apologize and have me expose you. Don't worry, I'm sure she'll forgive you. You know deep inside this is the right thing to do. The pain of having to face herself. Gura closed her eyes for a few moments and she opened them. Her face was crystal clear. I did. I was here. Good shark. I leaned on the table a bit more. Now, please tell me what exactly transpired last night. She looked down for a second. I was here for a late night snack. I heard from Kiara that KFP was turning a high profit, so I thought it was fine to do it once in a while. I felt the guilt wrapped around her words. I knew her well enough to say that it was genuine. She's really sort of innocent like a kid in some ways. Maybe the extreme hunger she holds within her is just something that we non-apex predators can never hope to understand. I eat on the top shelf because I thought that I could stay hidden there even if someone came in. But when something actually happened, I panicked. I heard the door open and Kiara came in, and I think she was holding Callie's scythe. I panicked and ran away. I see. That's all I saw. I don't know what happened after that. I didn't attack or do anything to harm Kiara. Glad you finally opened up. You should apologize to Kiara after our time's up. I will. We'll be ogre soon. What about Kiara? How did she react? I don't know. Like, she didn't shout or chase after you? I don't think so. I heard a thud and I didn't hear her voice. When I glanced back, it was just me and the open door. Huh. Now that you mention it, if my memory serves me right, she didn't even react much when I was running frantically towards the door. Maybe she was still half asleep, I don't know. You know that she doesn't remember this, right? Yeah, I was so surprised. I thought she called to scold me. You can imagine how puzzled I was when she didn't even mention it. That must have been quite the experience. Maybe she's a sleepwalker. I'll ask her now. I stood up and walked to the door. Kiara, I have a question. Are you a sleepwalker? Huh? No, as far as I know. Never happened even once. Where'd you get that idea? Also, time's almost up. Nothing, just wondering. I returned to my seat. Is she? No. Ooh, that's spooky. But no, maybe she was just half asleep. We wandered in silence for a few seconds. Your 10 minutes are over. Okay. Let's go. Apex detective right here. Gura bounced up from her seat and proceeded to leave the room. As she approached the door, she looked back and shot me a gentle smile. Thanks, Watson. Must protect. Kiara, I need to talk with you for a bit. Sure. Let's talk while Ame is preparing to present the investigation results. We waved a small goodbye to each other before she left. Come out whenever you're ready. We'll be waiting. She gently closed the door. I leaned back on my seat. My tense shoulders finally relaxed themselves. We're in the endgame now. I'm certain I've gathered enough information to not disappoint. I am Hololive's #1 detective, after all. I turned my gaze onto the ceiling. Gotta get this over with. I propped myself up from my seat and put the chairs back in their original order. It's time to perform the finale. This morning, our majestic phoenix, Takanashi Kiara, woke up in the trash after dying. We should call it the case of the Trashed Pheonix. Ina, no! Due to Kiara's memory problems, the truth behind the incident was unclear. But if it wasn't an accident, then one thing was certain. The culprit could only have been one of us. For that reason, I was tasked with unraveling this mystery. Being the ace detective that I am, the whole investigation took only a few hours. And now, this case will finally come to a close. I looked each of them in the eye before speaking again. There is indeed a culprit, and that culprit is... I swung my arm and pointed at Ina. You! Ina? No. I'm innocent. Hi, innocent. I'm Amelia. Ah. Got him. Oh boy, how the turns have tabled. Ha, I had this one coming. You admit to your crime. Ah, no. I was talking about the turntables. I swear I didn't do it, Kiara. I don't know about that one, Chief. You were already here before 5 a.m. But you lied and told us you arrived at 7 a.m. What? Oh, from the recordings. Yes, and to add to that, I'm convinced you went to the usual room during that time. Nani? Huh? What were you doing there? If I had to guess, she was recruiting KFP employees into her cult. She was even contemplating on opening her own fast food restaurant. I wasn't. She looked at me briefly and turned her eyes toward Kiara. Okay, Ame's right. It was for the tentacle, but I wasn't doing it to poach employees for Taco Bell. Ina, how could you? I only wanted to alleviate their suffering, to bestow upon them salvation from their impermanence. Sounds like a cult, alright. Okay. Then why'd you also kill me? I didn't do it. It's the truth. This is where it gets tricky. The evidence can match with Ina bonking the ashes on accident. She didn't turn on the lights because she was trying to hide the fact that she was there very early. That made it hard to see, hence why she tripped and bonked Kiara's ash. That's exactly what happened. But it also matches with her being a culprit. And if anyone would do all this just to joke about making Kiara literally trash, who else would do it but Ina? It does feel like a joke Ina would make. As I understand it, death for you guys isn't really a big deal. So, with all that in mind, wouldn't you say that's convincingly Ina? But I didn't do it. Don't resist and just accept your fate. For messing with my beloved KFP employees and for that terrible joke. I shall exact your punishment. She pointed to the direction of the usual room and began marching. To the usual room! Ina followed behind her, head down and shoulders drooped. Ame, why? That stung a little, to be honest. Phew. Freedom at last. And so, we went about with the rest of our day while Ina received punishment for her sins. Case closed. Callie, Gura, and Ina. They're all guilty, but It's been a long day. I've been sitting idle in my office after dinner. I watched whatever came on autoplay, then scrolled mindlessly on social media until I couldn't take it anymore. I fiddled around with my pocket watch. The gentle luster and cold sensation of metal isn't the most calming, but it was enough. I guess it's time. I clutched my watch. A power that lets one traverse time in ways most can only dream of. Though it might seem incredibly powerful, it is not as it seems, because everything has already happened. I've already done it countless times, but I still feel nervous during the actual moment. It's similar to the feeling I get when riding a plane. There's just a tinge of fear that something will go wrong during takeoff and landing. I silently opened the door to my bed and peeked in. Past me is sleeping peacefully, unaware of what's to come and what she has done. I sighed at myself. Just, what the hell am I doing? I turned away and went outside. KFP is around a 40-minute walk from here. Not a problem when the sun's heat isn't out to torture. My heart felt heavier with each step closer to KFP. Lost in my own thoughts, I almost committed the biggest blunder. A few minutes away from KFP, I failed to recognize Gura in the distance. Thankfully, I was able to notice and hide myself in time. She tripped on nothing and looked around embarrassed after getting back up. I bet she's also preoccupied with what just happened, which honestly just saved me now. On a time travel trip that's nearby temporarily, it's essential that one hide their presence as much as possible. This makes for a more stable set of circumstances to work with and reduces the risk of undesirable consequences. Phew, that was close. I soon arrived at the fated place. I could see the storage room door that Gura left open. Something crossed my mind. What if she was still alive? I can't call an ambulance or anything. With everything that's in there, KFP issues the usual room, the vials. It'd put both of us in a very tough spot, not to mention the possible dangers to the stability of my existence. She'll just resurrect anyway, so it's not a big deal, I know. But maybe I can still save her. I took the remaining steps with those thoughts running circles in my mind. If it were possible, while still keeping most of the circumstances the same, then maybe. Why do I bother hoping for something that's impossible? There were only dim lights outside, with the darkness of the storage room still painted a stark contrast against the rest of my view. The scene inside faded into view as my eyes adjusted to the dark. I stared at the ash. I'm sorry. Words that are so much easier to say when there's no one to hear them. Whatever, there's only one course of action to take now. I cursed myself for feeling relieved. The box was located at precisely the distance where not much of Kiara's ash could get on it. I can't even doubt the cause of death with this. There was obviously no blood from any injury. Damn it, why did I let this happen? I went to the refrigerator, box and tote, and pulled out both vial cases. Seeing the vials during the investigation was crucial. It confirmed both my suspicion and the message from my future self that this was my job. After that, the rest of the investigation only served to give me a clearer picture of everything surrounding the incident. I checked the latest empty vial. The date written on the label was the date just hours ago. I turned my attention to the special concoction case. I already knew what I was about to see, but I couldn't help being terrified. I slowly opened the case. My heart sank at seeing what was all but confirmed. On one spot was a vial with a blank label. Compared to the rest, it had a slightly lighter color inside. How could I screw up so badly? I took the vial and emptied it outside. The marker used on these vials should be one of the markers lying around in the storage room. Found it. I copied the date on the latest vial to the newly emptied one and switched it with the copied one. My job here is done. I slipped the original vial in my pocket and returned the vial cases in the refrigerator. Carrying the empty box as is was cumbersome, so I flattened it. I clutched the vial in my pocket and took a deep breath. It's time to leave. I took one last look at Kiara's ash before leaving. Amidst the chaos in my mind, I closed and locked the door. It was an accident that those vials got switched, and Kiara would be resurrected like it was nothing. I knew that. But the guilt wouldn't stop eating at me. What if the victim wasn't Kiara? That single question haunted me. I disposed of the box at a public trash bin a few blocks away and continued on my way. After arriving home, the first thing I did was erase the label on the vial with some rubbing alcohol. I wrote A on it instead, an extra A that shouldn't exist, a message that only I could have seen now as complete. I entered my room quietly and sat curled up on the floor beside my bed. This was perfectly safe. I already knew I wouldn't wake up until Kiara came. Still a couple of hours before Kiara comes. I felt so tired. I wanted to take a nap before returning, but I couldn't. Gee, I wonder why. I stood up, got a used needle from my office, and placed it on the bed. Past Ami's right hand was slightly open. It was a good position to put the vial in, and so I did. Everything's in place now. Finally. I sat down curled up again at the same spot. Bubba, who's been asleep since I arrived, woke up and snuggled next to me. He's used to seeing two of me by now. He probably doesn't understand why there are two of me, but he knows it's both me. I placed my hand on him and stroked his fur. A familiar warmth that keeps me going. My past self's sleeping face and Bubba's warmth made me relax a bit. I felt like taking a little rest. Maybe it's because of some of the weight on my mind has been lifted, and the fatigue finally caught up. My eyelids started to fall against my will. I resisted, but my consciousness shut down regardless. My eyes jolted open. Did I really just fall asleep? The time. I frantically checked for the time. It was 8:14. Phew. I breathed a huge sigh of relief and got up. The vial and needle were still in place. I looked at my past self's face again. I smiled for a moment. I gotta say, I think I look pretty cute. With a tap on the shoulder, I bid my past self goodbye. Ame! Alright, so that's the ending. So, on the itch.io page, it says there's 3 variations for that end. So, I'm gonna try to get those 2 endings, and then after that there's 2 joke endings, and then there's an unlockable bonus story that I'll go try and do after I get those other 4 endings. The 2 variations, the common end, and the 2 joke endings. I mean, I did get the first joke ending at the start, where you just don't do the story. So, what I'm thinking is the other 2 variations of the ending are probably where, like, instead of accusing Ina, I accuse either Gura or Callie. And then I think for the other joke ending, I just mess around the entire time during the investigations. So I'm gonna go ahead and go do that. So the rest of the video will just be me getting the rest of the endings, and then playing the after story. Alright, this one is going to be where I'm going to accuse Callie instead of Ina. I swung my arm and pointed at Callie. You! Callie? I knew it! What the F? I didn't do nothing. Well, let's hear Ame's explanation then. First, I want to confirm something. What is it? This is a little awkward to ask. Do you often kill Kiara when it's just the 2 of you? Huh? Ooh. How did you know? Just a hunch from Callie's responses and something you said at my office. What? I'm guessing that when she does it, Callie has to leave you with her scythe as a sign or something. That's why you were so sure when Ina mentioned that the scythe was at the crime scene, but held back from saying why. Thanks for confirming. Kusatori! Ah! I'm sorry. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Yabe. Kinky? For the record, it's not often. As a mere mortal, I can't say that I'm qualified to give my thoughts on this matter. So, let's go back to the case for now. I thought we agreed that in addition to make it painless, you need my consent before you do it. Wow. Oh my god! Please shut your mouth already! But you broke our rule! No, I didn't. Watson's got it all wrong. Kiara moved behind her Reaper wrapper. Friend? Yes, I forgive you. She began pushing Callie. I'm guessing they're headed for the usual room. I'm telling you, I'm not guilty. Yes, whatever you say. Punishment is still due. I could hear a hint of giggling in her voice. She's really happy with this result, huh? Believe me. No. Please do editing magic with that. The rest of us watched them slide away from view. We heard the, presumably, usual room's door open and close. And then there they go. Bro, I didn't even get to explain everything. Thanks, Kiara, for making this easy. You're welcome to explain now if you want. Meh, I don't really feel like it anymore. It was basically just Callie being jealous and salty last night. Figures. We chatted for a bit and then went about with our day. Case closed. Alright, I think that's the Callie variation of the ending. The rest is probably just going to be the same. So, I'll be back after the Gura ending as well. Alright, and now this is going to be the third and final variation of the common end, where we accuse Gura. I think they all follow pretty much the same structure, but all three of them are guilty. I swung my arm and pointed at Gura. You! Gura? What? No! You both know I didn't do it. I already confessed to Kiara about why I was there. She's right. What's this about? Yes, it wasn't murder. It was an accident accidentally caused by Gura. Huh? I don't understand. Gura, you probably didn't even notice, but you knocked a heavy box off the shelf in your panic frenzy. The box fell on Kiara, which unfortunately resulted in her death. I guess that does make sense. It's not the most exciting answer, but reality doesn't care about that. Wait. What about the box? Didn't it just appear? That is rather mysterious, yes. Either Gura actually knew and took it, or I would never do that. Or it was sadly something unexplainable by the information I've gathered. You know you're disrupting my performance. Regardless, that doesn't change the fact that the death causing the accident occurred. And the responsibility for that falls on Gura. I guess. Why the actual hell was Gura then? I'll tell you guys later. I clapped my hands together. There we have it. Case closed. So Gura, I guess this means a 2-in-1 punishment is waiting for you. No. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Gura's teary-eyed face looked up to Kiara with hope. Really? Of course. You're my friend and I love you. Kiara! But punishment is another matter. She picked up Gura and carried the shark in one arm like a little kid. Off to the usual room. Gura flailed around. You get to go out again only after a few hours. It's special treatment reserved only for my friends. No. F. Kiara and Gura had their friendly time together. The rest of us went about with our day. Okay, and that's the Gura ending as well. I feel like it was definitely pretty obvious with the Gura ending that the explanation definitely was pretty haphazardly put together. Ina did point out like the box was missing, and it was kind of clear that Ame was trying to clear it up. And this line here, like where Ame says they're all guilty, the main point of the story is that Ame can time travel, and whenever she tries to solve the mystery, she accuses someone, but then she decides to go back in time to check out the crime scene and like leave a message for herself with the vials. And I'm assuming that because this is a time loop, she'll always just do this over and over again. They're all guilty because this timeline sort of repeated over and over again to where enough times passed that all three of them ended up killing Kiara. I've already gotten one of the joke endings, the one at the start where you just don't. I'm gonna try to go for the other joke ending and then play through the after story. So for the second joke ending, I'm gonna assume that the second joke ending is where you just mess around during the interrogations. I'll just be recording every bit of dialogue from messing around during the interrogations, and then after that I'll play through the bonus story. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I'm going to be trying to go for the second joke ending now. I'm just going to load up right before all the interrogations start and just go through each of the interrogations, just completely avoiding the point entirely and failing the interrogations completely. So I'm just going to start with Callie and then go to Ina and then Gura in the same order that I interrogated them in this video. So I just clicked Callie. I'm just going to cut through some of this dialogue because I've already, displayed it. Only 10 minutes, no time to joke around. So, the deadliest day of the year. Do you know what the deadliest day of the year is? Callie was a little bit surprised by my question. Of course she'd be. This doesn't have anything to do with the case at all. I don't actually keep track of that. Let's see, maybe April 4th? I get why you guessed that day. But too bad, it's not actually the deadliest day. So what is the death day? As death itself, I must know. It's the first day of the year. New Year's, huh? That's a little ironic. Does that hold true even for deaths from natural causes? Yes, in fact, accidents and crimes, also typically high on New Year's, mostly aren't the highest on January 1st. Oh, naruhodo. That's some killer trivia. Ah, but at least in the US, I think the New Year's has the highest murder rate. Wow, that's so F-word and kawaii. Why do you know all this? Well, as a detective, it's useful to be aware of these things. Our work usually involves death and crime, so it's useful to have some related knowledge. I guess so, huh? I learned something new about death today. Big ups to you. Just sharing what I know. Detectives and Grim Reapers have a lot more in common than I thought. Okay, so. Cup or cone? Do you eat ice cream? Yes? Ice cream on cone or cup? Whoa, that's a complicated topic. Cone gang or cup gang? What's so complicated about it? First, I want to say that I believe both methods have their own strong points about them. There are various kinds of cones, each with their own unique taste. Just ice cream itself has limitless possibilities with taste. Taking these factors into account, it's quite hard to categorically declare my allegiance with one gang. So, it depends. Dead on. A specific ice cream might taste better in a cup than a regular cone, but it might taste better with a waffle cone. But even the same type of cone might taste different depending on the brand. That also applies to ice cream flavors and brands. Some ice cream might also be more enjoyable to eat with a spoon, while others lend themselves better for licking. There are just too many possibilities that it's difficult to say which one is superior. Such a long-winded non-answer. I'll tell you what, I won't enter any more of your nonsense questions. Ha, I'm kidding. I got your answer nice and clear. If there's any nonsense here, it's that I'm asking for this in the middle of an interrogation. Okay, let's see. Okay, from my opinion personally, I eat a ton of, like, drumsticks. Not like chicken drumsticks, but like the brand of ice cream where they come in like a cone. But then like the ice cream on top is actually covered by chocolate and peanuts. You have to like bite through the chocolate and the peanuts first to get to the ice cream. They're a little small-ish, but they're definitely pretty fun. Okay, let's see. Shikai and Bankai. Your scythe is your Zanpakuto, right? Huh? Is the scythe we always see its sealed state? Or is that its Shikai form? Also, have you achieved Bankai yet? I have no idea what you're talking about. Shikai? Bankai? What are those? Ah, never mind then. My Asian cartoons lied to me. But you mentioned sealed state. I guess you could call my scythe's current form that. I can release it to make it do stuff and be more powerful. Vindicated. Oh, show me sometime. I don't know about that. Releasing it here in the living room can get a little dangerous. Please. Maybe if we find a wide open and empty area. Yay, I'll definitely find one later and contact you. Okay. Woo, yeah, baby. Bankai. Let's see. Recount of last night. I heard from Kiara that you were here together last night. But can I ask you to give your own account of what happened? Sure, no problem. She fixed her posture as she replied. So, we three had quite a late dinner together, right? And you gave her asthma medication afterwards. After you left, your boy and Kusatori were just hanging out. Really? You didn't do anything else? No, Watson, we didn't. Okay, continue. Callie let out a weak sigh. We were just chilling, chatting about all sorts of topics in the break room. At around 10:30, Kiara said she was going to take a nap before she got home because she was feeling too sleepy. As far as I know, that wasn't something unusual for her. I was also dead tired. Work's tough on everyone, you know? So I stayed with her until she fell asleep. Then, I left through the storage exit as the front entrance was already locked. I went straight home and slept. Can you provide any proof? Unfortunately, I can't. The underworld ain't filled with technology spying on you. Nice, very concise, thanks. It comes easy when you've got nothing to hide. Kiara signaled the end. Time's up. I'm out. The Shinigami vacated her seat and walked out of the room. Peace. Ugh, I think I botched this one. Alright, so that's the Callie interrogation failed. Once you choose a couple of the off-topic options, it eventually steers you in the right direction, but the 10-minute time limit means you don't get to get as much information out of Callie, so Ame can't really consider Callie a suspect because, you know, she doesn't know enough. So next up is going to be Ina. and I'm just gonna click through. I'm gonna quick save here, and then I'm gonna click just whatever.
Wah.
Wah. Right, here we go. Right, so Ina of the Mountains, what is your wisdom? Do not rely on time machines to be on time for work. Huh? Nothing. Wisdom isn't something you can simply get from others. Insights from others are merely food for thought. You can consume mountains of this food, but without proper digestion, one won't be able to absorb it, only lulling them into a false sense of enlightenment. Very nice. I have another question. Instead of Ina of the Mountains, should it be like Ina of the Plains or something? You are an inquisitive one, my dear Watson. It shows that you are one who dedicates their time and thought. But I'm afraid I do not have an answer for that question. My wisdom falls short for today. Heh, fine. Rude. Heh. Existence of free will. Does free will exist? That's a loaded question. Why though? Why not? I also have no idea why. I feel like this question isn't something that we can answer properly in only 10 minutes. I don't need a complete one. I just want to get a general feel for their thoughts. For me, because it's not my job to study it, it's not really that important what the answer is. No matter what the answer is, we can only live in a way that feels like we have a will that's in our control. So illusion or not, I live trying to be better at controlling that will. That's a pragmatic approach. We can't ever escape the cage that is our brain, so best to just accept it and move on, huh? Yeah, something like that. There's a nice quote from Hoogie Boop related to that. Something like, there are no humans who aren't brainwashed, so the question is, even in that context, what do we still value? I can't remember the exact lines. Interesting, might check that one out. Back to the investigation. Okay, let's see. Which over is it? Over. You know how people say over when ending their messages over the radio? What does that actually stand for? What do you mean? Doesn't it mean the message is over? Or is it turning over the mic to you over? Huh, good question. I've always thought it was message is over. I thought it was a over to you over. This is like thinking about a pun. We're pondering about it. So, about your question, maybe it's actually both. That'll be pretty clever of them. Doesn't really matter though. Like with most cool stuff in life. True. Over and out. Let's see. Recount of last night and this morning. Let's go with the standard initial question. Please give me your account of last night and this morning. Try to add more details to what you've already told us earlier. Okay, let's see. As you've already confirmed, I was finishing an illustration late into the night. I went straight to sleep after. Oh, and I slept on the floor so I could wake up easier. What? Okay, and then? Woke up early, got ready for work, and went to KFP. I went in through the storage room. Like with everyone who's gotten storage room access from Kiara, which includes the 5 of us here right now. After I opened the door, I didn't notice the mess on the floor and tripped over something. I had my crowbar in hand, so I accidentally bumped the ground. Of course, I had no idea Kiara's ashes were scattered on the floor and all. Next, I cleaned up the mess and went on to do my duties on KFP. Kiara woke up just shortly after that, and the rest is as you know. As in Kiara raging and banging on my door? Yep. She initially suspected me, but I told her that if I did it, I wouldn't have hung around until she woke up. Neat, thanks. Ah, I forgot one thing. I was wondering about this. Back in your office, I said I assumed that stuff scattered from the floor was on one of the boxes somehow falling on the shelves. I forgot to mention that I didn't actually find the box. Ah, good, that's vital information. Time's up, guys. Alright then. She waved once and turned toward the door. Her shadow receded as she walked out of the room. Didn't do a good enough job on this one. That leaves only Gura. Alright, and then this should be the last one. Should I take the seat across from you? Not really, but it'd feel weird if you didn't. Gura didn't reply and helped to see herself across from me. Shall we begin? Time starts now. Goofing around with Gura is fun, but now it's not the time for that. This is the time to show them my detective skills are legit. Let's see. So, Gura, you ever choke on water randomly? Huh? Why are you asking this now? Yeah, I really should be asking other things about that right now. No reason, it just popped in my mind. Okay, well, yes, I have. It's annoying, right? Choking on food doesn't annoy me as much. I get what you mean, like, it's just water. Yeah, plus the coughing usually takes longer to subside. But I have an even better one. Oh? Choking on your own saliva. I can't remember the last time that happened to me. Maybe it happens more often to me. Maybe it's because you're always hungry. You make too much saliva. Shut up. You want some then? Ew, no. Hey. What do you call that condition for people with swallowing problems? I think it was dysphagia, I think. It must be a nightmare having that condition. Sure seems like it. I suddenly felt grateful for being able to swallow normally. Okay, so... real quick before the next thing, one time, I actually choked on food, right? Like, I was eating, like, a taco. And I started choking on the taco. So then I reached for some water, and then I went to drink the water, like, while I was choking on the food, but then I choked on the water that was meant to help me stop choking on the food. So I'm like, I'm double choking, and then I stopped breathing for a second, and then I just started panicking, and everyone else around me is like, oh, well, this is fine, because, like, I choke on water all the time, so, like, nobody really gave me an extra thought. Like, I could not breathe for, like, a solid 30 seconds. Anyways. Power levels. You're over 9,000 years old, right? Yeah, and what about it? What about your power level? Does it match your age? How would I know? We don't even have anything to measure that. You sure don't look very powerful. I'll have you know that I'm way stronger in the sea. But you can't even swim. Only in fresh water. Whatever, we'll just judge on whatever we have here. If, say, Callie's power level is 9,000, how would you match up to that at this moment? Callie's pretty strong. I guess maybe 7,000? Isn't that too high? With my trident and chunky tail, my might would still be that of an apex predator. I feel like Kiara should be 7,000, then you'll be 5,000. If it's impossible to estimate Ina's, so let's just leave hers at question mark for now. I won't argue with Kiara being stronger on land, but 5,000 feels too low. I bet that chunky tail of yours won't even last a minute against ground pounds. Okay, I can see. You get 6,000 and I get 5,000. Happy? Why are we even trying to determine our power levels? You started it. Yeah, my bad. Let's move on. Okay, let's see. Ha, you're so funny, Watson. Someone suddenly banged on the door. What the hell are you two doing? Nothing. Hick. The two of us laughed like idiots for another minute or so. Can you recount what you were doing last night again? With more detail if possible. I ate pizza for dinner. I took a bath. A long one, with pizza. Then I watched random stuff until I fell asleep. I don't really know what else I can add there. What sort of stuff did you watch? I can't prove it anyway, so why do I have to say it? Why not just disclose the information? Fine. GTA Online roleplays. Oh, that. Stop. Don't say more. Why? I also watch them. Lots of people do. But, okay, is your watch history disabled? Yeah, that's why I can't show it. And I watch on the app. That's too bad. Your 10 minutes are over. Okay. No. Am I losing my detective wits? Gura bounced up from her seat and proceeded to leave the room. We waved a small goodbye to each other before she left. Okay, that should be able to give me the joke ending, because I didn't get any meaningful information out of anybody, so I can't really accuse anybody. God, how did I mess up the interrogation so badly? How can I even call myself an ace detective? I turned my gaze onto the ceiling. I have to pull through somehow. I propped myself up from my seat and put the chairs back in their original order. It's time to perform the finale. This morning, our majestic phoenix, Takanashi Kiara, woke up in the trash after dying. We should call it the case of the Trashed Pheonix. Ina, no! Due to Kiara's unclear memory problems, the truth behind the incident was unclear. But if it wasn't an accident, then one thing was certain. The culprit could only have been one of us. For that reason, I was tasked with unraveling this mystery. Being the ace detective that I am, the whole investigation only took a few hours. And now, this case will finally come to a close. I looked each of them in the eye before speaking again. There is indeed a culprit, and that culprit is... I could only raise my arms and shrug. I don't know. What? I got nothing. Huh? Are you kidding me? We spent all that time investigating. We even gathered everyone. Yeah, explain yourself. You had one job, Detective Watson. I'm sorry, okay? It's just... I took a deep breath and composed myself. Well, it's really strange, because I didn't feel in control of the choices I was making. It's like there's someone out there. There's something that's controlling me. It's pulling my strings. I don't get it, but I can never really explain it, especially during the interrogations. I don't really know why I asked those questions. I didn't really want to ask those questions. I think those were the wrong questions, but I couldn't stop myself from asking those questions. So, I guess, here we are. Sorry, guys. What? That was something. Are you okay? Watson, maybe you need to stop with the concoctions. What? Why do they look stunned? What? No, I'm fine. Okay, Ame, I'm not really sure what to make of that. But since you failed to do your job of finding the culprit, I believe it's only fair that you receive punishment in lieu of the actual culprit. Huh? Why? I don't understand why someone needs to be punished no matter what. Because I want to. And we spent too much time on this just to end up with nothing. That's so boring. Wait, do we get to see the inside of the unusual room? I mean, the usual room? Kiara grabbed my arm and started pulling it. Wait, stop! I tried resisting, but it was futile. She was stronger than I thought. Bye, Watson. We'll pray for your safe return. No! I got dragged into the usual room. Do we get to see it? She let me out later that night. Crashed into my bed the moment I got home. I can't remember what happened in that room. I have a feeling that I don't want to. And those are all the endings. So that was the second joke ending. And that should be all of the endings. Now I just need to play through the after story and then we'll be done. So yeah. I'll boot up the after story and I'll get back to you guys when I have it. Okay, I'm back. So it turns out I didn't fully complete Guro's route all the way. I had to, you know, read everything through to the final credits, so time for the after story. It was an accident. Kiara would be resurrected like it was nothing. I knew that. Murder! Freaking murder! But I ran away. We are here today so that I, Ace Detective Amelia Watson, even if it was an accident, I was still, without a doubt, guilty. It just so happened that Callie, Gura, and Nina were each also hiding something, and I took advantage of that. Oh no, one of them chipped off at the corner. Sensing an opportunity to deflect blame, I avoided taking responsibility. Instead of admitting to my mistake, all I did was run away. Pathetic. There is indeed a culprit, and that culprit is... I was exhausted. My eyelids were falling shut even while talking. Barely conscious, I somehow managed to drag myself to bed before crashing. I woke up, strangely, without the usual urge to go back to sleep. It felt like almost no time had passed. I checked the time. 9:31 a.m. Wow, I haven't slept this deep for so long. It was almost time to open the office. A heavy feeling still lingered inside. I pulled myself up from bed and began my usual routine on work days. As I prepared to open the office, memories of the previous day kept flashing in my head. I sat down and took some deep breaths. For a second, I entertained the idea of traveling back in time to let Kiara know the truth. I quickly shot it down for a number of reasons. First, it is ill-advised to create complex, layered temporal interactions, mainly for the time traveler's sanity. Second, the fact that Kiara doesn't seem to know the truth can only mean two things. Either she already knew and she let me get away with it, or I'll end up failing to inform her no matter what. Everything has already happened. We're talking about Kiara here. I think half the reason she wanted an investigation was for everyone's amusement. If she knew, she'd be having a field day with the punishments. But more than any other reason, I just wanted to stop running away from facing Kiara. Even if I indirectly informed her today, that wouldn't be any better. The answer is so simple. Just confess and apologize. Stop running away. It's so simple, and yet... I can't get any work done like this. I stood up and decided to head out. Gloomy grays were draped all over the sky, seemingly reflecting my emotions. Ha, what's this, a music video? I should really just confess and apologize to Kiara right now. I knew that was the best thing to do, yet somehow I ended up at Pecco Land instead of KFP. I swear I didn't make this decision, my body just moved on its own. I sighed before going in with my unlimited passworks. We always find ways to look at everything and everyone else but ourselves. Looking at every possible direction except inward. Searching for an escape instead of a solution. Only delaying the inevitable. I like to start my amusement park trips with a bang, so I got in line to ride the pet coaster. I'm pretty sure this is the only coaster around that jumps off tracks and submerges passengers in both water and lava. You have to wonder if this is even legal. Judging from where I was at the line, I'll get in ride with the next batch. As I set aside my thoughts on amusement park legalities, I noticed a little girl in front of me. She gripped her mother's skirt, her hand slightly shaking. I guess she's scared. Are you sure you want to ride it? The little girl nodded with determination. The coaster arrived and the previous passengers boarded off. They opened the gates to let us in. I got seated in one of the cars around the middle. The little girl who was in front of me at the line was still on the platform. She was clearly frightened, but you could see on her face that she really wanted to do it. Her mom counted down for her and she courageously hopped on board. Some of the onlookers cheered. If she was a few years older, I wonder if people would still react the same way. A bell rang, signifying the beginning of the ride, and the coaster slowly started to accelerate. Throughout the ride, my focus was often on the little girl. She was in the car in front of me along with her mom. I've already enjoyed this ride so many times, so my interest leaned more towards the little girl's experience. She was screaming in pure fear for the first minute or so, but as the ride progressed, I could hear her screams of fear gradually turn into those of exhilaration. A few jumps, and a pool of lava later, we passed the final turn and entered the loading platform. The coaster slowed down to a halt. Passengers began disembarking. The little girl got off and was gleaming with joy, walking with a gleeful bounce in her steps. She faced her challenge head-on and conquered it. I decided to eat lunch before enjoying the other attractions. For some reason, they only serve whole carrots and vanilla sponge cakes here. Judging from people's reactions, the cakes seem to be some kind of Russian roulette, so I've always avoided them and have only eaten carrots. After all, I've had my fill, or at least as much fill as one can have from eating carrots. I walked around for a little while. I looked at the available attractions to see if there was anything new since my last time here. There was also the Nice Boat, a bizarre racing course where people race in boats, but they're on solid ice instead of water. The boats were gliding on the ice at insane speeds. It wouldn't surprise me if people had their bones broken there. It seemed fun, but I was alone and didn't really feel like going on a race with strangers. Then, there was the Wall and Arrow, this target shooting stall with great prizes, but there's a catch. Successfully shooting a prize off the shelves doesn't automatically win you the prize. It has to go through and out of some shady looking contraption before you win it. If the prize doesn't make it out of the opaque contraption, you don't get anything. When a customer complains about this, the staff in charge make an apologetic face and point to the fine print at the bottom of a very long list of rules. I found that I was in the mood for shooting, so I went ahead and played the rigged shooting game instead of shooting other things. I aimed at this dark cube thing labeled Crying Obsidian because I wanted to make it cry more. This'll be easy. As a certified gamer, I just had to channel my FPS skills. My first attempt narrowly missed the mark. I recalibrated my aim like a true gamer and successfully knocked it off the shelf on my second try. Wii gaming. I turned around to leave, assuming I won't get the prize. Ka-ching! Lo and behold, somehow the prize actually came out of what was surely a rigged contraption. I got lucky, I guess? Maybe they had to make it a certain percentage of players actually win in order to stay legal or something. Now I had to carry around with me this gigantic dark purple cube with a glowing vein-like pattern. Crying Obsidian? Where are the tears then? What even is this? It looks so alien, like it was from another dimension or something. I wandered around for a bit, undecided on what to do next. The cube weighed way lighter than I expected for its size. Still, my arms were getting a bit tired, so I placed the Crying Obsidian down on the concrete and made it my chair for the moment. I took out my phone. Battery, 7%. 1:37 p.m. Almost exactly 12 hours since that. A notification popped up on my phone. Kiara sent something on our Hololive group chat. Talk about timing. At everyone. Anyone down for an early dinner at KFB? I typed in, sure, what time? And stared at it. While I was hesitant on pressing the send button, Callie replied to Kiara, what time? Just after 5, before the dinner customer rush. I'm down. I locked my phone without sending my reply. I slid my phone back into my coat and got up. Looking around, it felt as if I was the only one in the entire park who was standing still with no destination. Everybody else was lined up, moving, or busy with the attractions. Even here, huh? I walked around trying to choose my next distraction. Musical Jenkin, chicken egg birthing gacha, and many others. I've just about toured the entire place now. I must have been dragging my feet for at least 30 minutes. Whatever enthusiasm I had for any of the attractions had been drained. I just wanted to sit down and do nothing until closing time. I placed the crying obsidian down and was about to sit when something caught my eye. A little boy was standing alone, unmoving unlike the rest. With furrowed brows, he looked around again and again. Is this an escort or fetch quest? Either way, this seems like a unique one-time event, so I wanted to do it. I went to the Lost Boy and initiated the quest dialogue. Hey, are you okay? Where are your parents? The boy looked up at me and tilted his head a little. They're at work. Why did I assume that he's with his parents? So who's with you today? Did you get separated from them? His eyes probed me for a moment, then his expression softened up. I got separated from my big sister. I see. Then I'll help you find your sister. I pointed at one of the speakers currently playing Hoshimachi Suisei's Starry Jet. There's a place where they can call for your big sister using those giant speakers all around the park. How about we go there? What do you think? Let's go. I gave the boy a pat on the head and stretched out my arm, inviting him to hold my hand. Let's go. I'm a big boy now, you don't need to hold my hand. Oh, don't be shy now. I'll be your big sister until we find your real sister. I grabbed his hand and started walking. But I'm 7 now. Despite saying that, he let me hold onto his hand without struggling. So, what's your name? My parents told me that I shouldn't give my name or address to strangers. But it's okay to follow me? If you try to leave me out of Pekka-land, I'll run away. Aren't you the clever little woman? Oh, thanks to YouTube. Kids nowadays. We got... Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. The boy sang cheerfully as we continued walking. One more song later, we arrived at the information desk. I informed the receptionist of the situation and asked for help. They obliged and announced the presence of the lost boy looking for his sister over their PA system. Now, all we have to do is wait. I felt my phone vibrate. I pulled it out and I checked. Battery's empty. I didn't get to reply to Kiara. I noticed the boy scanning my outfit with his eyes. Miss, why are you dressed funny? Ah, this is... Oh, is that cosplay? I've seen it on YouTube. No, this is my uniform for my job. Here at Pekka-land? No, I'm taking a break right now. Oh, I know what you're called. You're called Slackers. This kid. No, I'm a detective. I see. What the hell? I turned to the voice's direction. It was an athletic looking girl in her teens. Ah, that's my big sis. She jogged toward this boy and instantly barraged him with head pats. It quickly turned into a rough, ruffling motion, almost making his cap fall off. I'm so sorry. Stop it. Okay, Kisama and Omae. The older sister, Omae, turned to me. She took my hands into hers and gave them a firm shake. Thanks so much for helping my little brother, thank you. No problem. Glad to have helped. Kisama, come on, you should also thank her. Thank you, Miss, Ame. Miss Ame, thanks for helping me find my sister. We smiled and waved goodbye. I like how they're just named you and you. The siblings walked away and slowly disappeared through the crowd. Quest completed. Phew. I felt refreshed. If it wasn't for that, I might have just sulked away all my hours here. Sometimes all you need to do is touch grass or something. Now I felt like I could follow that little girl's example. I took out my phone, ready to send a reply to Kiara, determined to face her and apologize. Oh, right, the battery died. It's fine. I'll just show up unannounced. I checked the clock on the information desk. 3:36 p.m. I still had some time to enjoy a few more attractions. Might as well do so. Horror of the Elite, Musical Junkin, Nice Boat, Chicken Egg Birthing Gacha, Oopa Roopa BM, and many more. Next one's the last. I got too engrossed and lost track of time. Or maybe I was just subconsciously delaying the inevitable. I finally decided to leave Peccoland after pushing the time tight. I might arrive a little late if I walk, but that won't be an issue. I'd be fast anyway. The extra time from walking will also help me prepare myself. Along the way, an ever-familiar anxiety started creeping up again. This time, I didn't let it get the best of me. I've learned time after time. Running away is a shame, but it's not the end. What matters is I don't stop trying. I continued on with renewed resolve. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Droplets started falling from the dark, discolored sky. I didn't have an umbrella with me. I mean, it wasn't raining when I left. Why would I bring one? I picked up my paste and hoped for the best. But as fate would have it, the shower turned out to be a heavy downpour. It really had to pour down while I was on my way to KFP, huh? Screw it. I dashed forward. I was only a few minutes away from KFP. Countless raindrops prickled cold on my skin. My clothes felt heavier and heavier. So did my strides. The cold was numbing. I couldn't tell anymore if the rain was letting up or getting more violent. Water entered my mouth when I breathed. I didn't think rain could drench someone this quick. Splish, splash. The soles of my shoes splashed on the flowing water all over the sidewalk. Someone film me now, I'm sure this will look cinematic. A gust of wind blinded me with a sudden spray. The wind seized my cap and flung it several meters onto the asphalt road. I stared at it for a moment. A taxi passed by. Its wheels missed the cap by only a few inches. Ah! I abandoned my cap and sprinted again. Without my cap, the cold rain now hit me square on the face with full force. I lifted my head high, running into the rain head-on with all that I had. Ah! I arrived in front of KFP out of breath. I immediately took cover right outside the entrance. Going inside while dripping all over would be bad. I squeezed out what water I could from my clothes. Ame? I know that voice. You're soaking wet. What happened? And you didn't reply. You see. She brought me into the back and gave me a towel and change of clothes. Come to the dining area when you're done changing. These clothes. I headed for the dining area after getting changed. I immediately spotted them on the same table we occupied yesterday. Surprisingly, everyone was there. This doesn't happen too often. How about you, Callie? Me? A ring-tailed lemur? I need to interrupt them before they delve deeper into that topic. What are you guys talking about? I hope Kiara has explained the situation. Oh, Watson, you're here. Their eyes all drifted down in unison. That outfit looks good on you. Seeing everyone together, a bundle of feelings welled up in me. But you prefer me in that outfit over Ami, right? That's a separate topic. I looked down, ignoring the chaos. I have to say it now. Just say it. Yeah. Ami, why don't you take a seat? If I don't confess now, I'll have a hard time bringing it up. Come on, just say it. No. Watson? I have to do it now. Something wrong, Ami? I will do it now. I clenched my hands, my fingernails drilled into my palms. I'm sorry. Huh? It was me. Your death, it was my fault. A moment of silence passed as everyone processed my words. What? We've been tricked! We've been backstabbed! We've quite possibly been... You mean the whole investigation was just a lie? No, it was... I didn't know the truth when the investigation began. I figured it out in the middle of the investigation. It was an accident. If only I'd been a little more careful. Wait, so how exactly did I die? Remember when I dropped the vial cases? I messed up and got a pair of vials mixed up. It's probably why you had trouble remembering your dying moments. I accidentally gave you the wrong medication, and too much of it. Oh no. What about the interrogation? What was that for? I used the rest of the investigation to obtain information in order to cover up my blunder without any issues. Wow. Big brain maneuvers. I not only caused the incident, I also ended up wasting everyone's day. I'm so sorry. Come on now, no need to be so pressed about it. It's fine, right guys? I'm kinda irked about being bamboozled, but it's nothing. I had fun yesterday, to be honest. That's it? But what if it wasn't Kiara? I raised my head. This could have ended so horribly. Now that you mention it, yeah. Although I'm not sure how dangerous that would be on the others, it'd still be great if we could prevent this kind of accident in the future. I just needed to use color-coded vial caps. The fix was so simple, but I was too irresponsible. Problem solved then. But you already learned your lesson, just be more careful and mindful in the future. Aren't you guys even a little mad? You want us to berate you? So you're an M now? That's not it. Well, even if we wanted to. It's hard when you're already this angry and remorseful. You already made up for our share and more. Yeah, you gotta stop being too hard on yourself. Goro got up and slapped me hard on the back. Ow, that hurt. She repeated it. Stop. Kiara joined in and patted my head. Stop it. Yeah, this is the punishment you wanted. I put my head down again. You guys. Words that are so much easier to say when there's no one to hear them. But in finding the courage to face people and say them out loud, those words become so much more valuable. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you. Okay, and that's the ending. Okay, so that's the end of Amelia Watson, case file number 420, the Trashed Pheonix. So, about the comments I made about halfway through the video, after getting the sort of standard endings, I mentioned about how all three of them, Gura, Callie, and Ina, were guilty. The after story showed us that none of them were really guilty, and it was just Ame. And it managed to tell a really nice story about having confidence to say things and do the right thing. And overall, the story was pretty fun to play through. It was a nice couple hours of my life spent, and honestly, it was a great game. So yeah, that was Amelia Watson case file number 420, the Trashed Pheonix. Thanks for watching, comrades, and have a great rest of your day.